Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We're so excited to have Laurie Tancula joining us today. She's the owner of her own company called Latitude Interiors, and she's from Louisville, Kentucky. We're going to talk today about this interior design firm that she runs, and she's helping so many people, and hopefully in turn can help me, can help you, all of us. Hello, Laurie. How are you?
I am doing just dandy today. How about you, Jill?
I'm doing great. Pleasure to see you here live on the Zoomcast and live on the podcast. New
Thank you
time
so much for
listeners.
having me.
Well, thank you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
My name is Laurie Tancula. I run Latitude Interiors here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I work on folks' homes here in Kentucky, but I also do e-design with folks from other states all over the U.S. And I'm delighted to be here.
Beautiful. We're excited to have you and want to first and foremost get to know you. Before we get to know all the interior design background and how you're helping people, I think it's important to find out more about you. Where did you grow up? What brought you into this field and this line of work?
So I grew up in a little town south of Chicago called Crete, Illinois. But when I say south of Chicago, I mean not in the city at all. It was a little tiny 4,700 people town. And I've lived in Louisville now for 30 years. So Louisville is the place that I've lived in the longest in my life. So Louisville's definitely home. While I was home with raising my kids, I have always been interested in design. And I did my home and redid. And other people asked me, friends and family asked me to help with theirs. So for a very long time, I did it for free. And in 2018, I decided to start charging people. And it has grown since then.
Congratulations. And how do we reach you? What's your website? Best form of contact? You have a phone number as well?
I do. My phone number is 502-314-7923. And my email is interiorsbylatitude@gmail.com. You can reach me either of those ways. I also am on Instagram if you'd like to follow me and see some of the projects we've done. And my Instagram is Latitude Interiors.
Perfect. Well, let's talk a little about how you recognize the need for your type of services to start. I know you kind of wanted to discuss this type of gap in the market, right?
Yeah, the gap that I noticed was this. When folks, and by that I mean contractors, and I work with fabulous contractors, but when they go into people's homes and they're not working with someone or don't have a lot of ideas, what contractors like to do is the same thing they did in your neighbor's house, in the neighbor beside them, in the neighbor beside them. So they put in the same type of materials. And I think it's playing it safe, which I completely understand. But I noticed that if you take a fresh approach to that, people really sit up and take notice because it doesn't look like everyone else's bathroom, like everyone else's bedroom. So that is the gap in the market that I saw, and I'm trying to help folks with.
Oh, this is amazing. Well, we're excited to have you here. Now, by the way, do you work only in the state of Kentucky or do you do work all over the world? Yeah, how does it work? Do you do virtual
Well,
services too?
I do. Um, in the state of Kentucky, I go into folks' homes, and I love doing that because I really enjoy working with people. However, I do virtual design as well, and I've taken a number of classes in e-design to hone my skills in that area. So I do virtual design boards, but also virtual sourcing. So I can source furnishings, I can source upholstered pieces, I can source mirrors and accessories. And a lot of my companies that I am a retailer for are here in the United States in North Carolina, and they ship anywhere. So I do virtual design, and then we order furniture, and it goes right to folks' homes.
Awesome. And what are some of the trends and what are we seeing now in interior design? Just curious, and since the pandemic, how much of an increase in your business has been. I feel like everyone decided to like change their home and realize, wow, we're in our home a lot more. This needs to be changed. This needs to be done. Could you share a little bit about what happened post COVID?
I saw exactly the same thing you saw, in that people are in their homes more, and also with interest rates, people decided, I'm not going to sell my home and move up or move down. I'm going to make the place I live a place that I love. So that has been a real opportunity for me to help folks love the place that they're living in. And when you asked about trends, the biggest trend we're seeing in 2023 is that white, light gray, and light beige palette that has been all over the place for several years is showing up a lot less, and people want to infuse their rooms with more color and personality. So that's been really fun to design around.
Exactly, because like when I moved into my home maybe 7 years ago, it was just a basic home. It was 20 years old, but they redid it. But everything's like still beige and boring. I need some color,
Yeah,
I need some pop. I haven't done it. But then I think the past few years, it's more all the homes, they're just painting everything in gray, right? Like
they
it went
were.
from like
Yeah,
beige to gray, and now where are
it
we?
did. It did. And now are a lot more pops of color coming into home design. We're leaving all the white kitchens, we're leaving all the white countertops, and we're putting, I would say, a little more personality into the design and not playing it quite so safe.
Beautiful. And let's talk more specifically about the work as an interior designer, what you do specifically. Take us through, someone's interested in doing what specifically from the home, from the bathroom, from the kitchen, from what rooms do you specialize in?
I think my favorite room to do is bathroom, because I love the tiles. I love the textures you can put in there. I love the combination you can put into a small space and have it be cohesive and beautiful. So I think that is my favorite room to design. When you talk about the kinds of jobs I do, for instance, one of my clients right now, I am doing an entire first floor redo in her home. She's been there 7 years. And when she moved in, she made some adjustments, but now that it's 7 years old, she wanted some changes. She wanted her built-in bookcases ripped out. She wanted not stuff all over, but much, much simpler and cleaner lines. So we're helping her with that. We ripped out built-in bookcases and just put up a big mirror with artwork leaned against it. So we made things cleaner and fresher. We painted her dining room and we're bringing in all new furnishings in her first floor. So this project went from, we yapped about it for a couple hours to get all of her ideas. Then we went back and forth on House and on Pinterest to just kind of hone in on what her vision was. After that, I did design boards for each of the rooms in her home. And when I did that, then she could see what I was envisioning. And that is a very collaborative effort. We kind of go back and forth. Like, I love this, she says, but there's something, not crazy about that table. And we go back and forth. I managed the construction of that project. And now we're into, all the furniture got delivered last week. And now we're into accessorizing artwork, stuff like that. We're doing finishing touches now. So that is typical of my jobs that go from conception through to completion. And some folks that I work with want to be heavily involved in all that and manage the construction. And that is awesome for me. Other people want me to manage it, and I'm
Okay.
happy to if they want me to.
Beautiful. Well, I know I was also reading that you grew up, you said, with modest means, but that inspired you to really work hard, right? And get an education and succeed as a professional. You mentioned the design
I
part,
did.
you said was easy, but the stumbling blocks you says were on the business end. Could you share a little bit more details about that?
Absolutely. I have three right now, three stumbling blocks. I have many more, but I'm only going to share three. Is brand awareness. So getting your name out there and making people feel comfortable with you coming into their home and helping them. That's one. Number two is workflow. and just understanding the processes that designers go through and how to do that most efficiently. And then the third one is software for designers. I am learning, but like the bookkeeping end of it is my least favorite part. So that's my third stumbling block. And I am getting more familiar with it, and I'm doing it because it is a necessary evil, but it's a bit of a stumbling block. But you know, when you open your own business, you have to do every single facet, and it's those other facets of the design business that have been challenging to me, but in a good way, because I want to learn them, because I love what I'm doing and I want to continue.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. I mean, and the work you're doing. Let's talk about, do you have a passion for one area over another, or like what is your favorite thing to do on the inside? Is it the bathrooms? Is it the kitchens? What is it?
Um, Bathrooms are my favorite, but also family rooms I love, because upholstered furniture is can be so comfortable, so cozy, and so inviting. So making the space that a family spends the most time in, and oftentimes that's a family room, or a large percentage of their time, I should say, making that warm, inviting, cozy. I love that challenge. And I love to see when you're done with it and people go in and enjoy it so much, are just tickled to be in the space. That just is warms my heart.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. And let me ask you about your friends and your family. You mentioned that you also do repurpose. Like you also are taking stuff like antiques and redoing. And so like you don't throw things away. Can you explain that? Refurbishing, or what do we call that?
Yeah, I call it repurposing. You call it refurbishing. I'll give you an example of my most recent repurposing project. I had to do a bathroom in my powder room in my own home. And I had the idea to find a chest of drawers that were the perfect size, shape, height, all that. I found
Mm-hmm.
one, a white chest of drawers that had a mirror attached to the back. It had flowers all over the front
Oh
of
my
every
gosh.
single drawer, but it was the exact right height, shape. It was beautiful, real wood. So I completely redid it, and it's now, tore off the top of it. It is now the vanity in my first floor bathroom in my home. And I could not love it more. It turned out beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing. You see, I love that repurposing. And also, let me just ask you, education wise, did you go to school for this? Did you get a degree? How did it work with the interior design education? How does it work to become an interior designer?
So I went to school when I went to college when I was a bit younger than I am now. I went to school for statistics. I was a math major and worked in employee benefits until I had my boys. Since then, I've done a number of interior design classes, and I've also taken software classes to learn interior design, like space planning, electronic design boards.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken a number of classes in the field that I'm interested in to bone up on my skills and to just learn more and more about the field that I really enjoy being in.
Beautiful. And remind us again of how we can reach you.
You can reach me at interiorsbylatitude@gmail.com. Please follow me on Instagram at Latitude Interiors,
I want to get you on Instagram. Hold on, hold on. Do you mind if I do it now? LATT. Go ahead. Wait, latitude.
LATITUDEINTERIORS. You can see a
Okay.
whole bunch of our projects there.
Beautiful. Hold on. I must have spelled it wrong. I must have spelled it wrong. Would you mind trying one more time for me? LAT.
LATITUDEI,
Yep, I put two T's.
okay, INTERIORS.
Okay, hold on, hold on. Yay, I found you. There she
Okay,
is.
good,
Beautiful.
good.
Is that your dog?
It's my client's dog, but after I spent some time, his that little dog's name is Fritz,
Oh
and
my
after
gosh.
I spent some time at my client's house with Fritz, I decided that is the next dog I'm getting, is that little dog named
Adorable.
just like Fritz. Isn't he so cute?
Beautiful. And look,
Isn't
I'm
he so
looking
cute?
at some of your work here. This is exterior spaces too, cookouts, football games. You're doing yards as well. That's a great outdoor space. That's another thing that happened during COVID. People realize they want their backyards done. So tell me about this project.
Absolutely.
Wow, September 4th,
So,
you posted this beautiful exterior space with the fan and the, ooh, what's this?
okay, so this project started because this backyard space had two different levels of decking that was on it. It had no covering over it, and you had to step down to go to this space. So the idea for this was a much more livable space out there because we could expand the footprint of their home by making this livable space. So we raised the floor of it and made it much larger. And now it's a continuation of the interior of this beautiful home. So we used Trex decking and made a very large space. And then
Mm-hmm.
we put in a portico that has mechanical louvers. When it rains, they can sit under that louvered roof and they will not get the least bit wet. We put a fireplace in, we put mounting a television above the fireplace so they can watch football games, have cookouts, be out there when the sun is beating down and still be so comfortable because of the louvered roof and the fans. So my
Wow.
clients are so excited to have this space added to their home. And right now I'm working with this particular client on finishing up furnishing it.
Yay. I love it. I love it.
Yay.
And what I'm noticing, the outdoor furnishing, by the way, like that exterior space that I was just looking at on your Instagram, when it has that outdoor area, like a lot of fire pits and barbecues, a lot of people are doing that aspect too, right?
True. Yep.
What about hot tubs? Did they, I see some hot tubs. Girl, oh my God, wait, hold on. What's this lighting design? Lovely lighting. Look at that simple, that's like a cube around a cube, a cube, a cube. What is that? That's so pretty.
That
Wow.
is in, that's I was telling you about a client where I'm doing her entire first floor. That is her 2-story foyer and the new lighting we put in there.
Wow.
Isn't it dramatic and beautiful?
That is so pretty. It really is beautiful. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. The homeowner is so happy with it. And so, yay, that's a win.
Wow. What other projects did you want to discuss? My goodness, there's some beautiful the stuff that I'm getting to see here on your site. Indoor fireplaces?
There are so many brick fireplaces in homes that are 20 years old, 30 years old, that are still red brick, brown brick.
Yeah.
And I have had a few clients that wanted to completely redo and update that space. So in one space, in my Instagram, you will see this. In one space, we painted the entire fireplace wall, including shelves, this
Wow.
beautiful blue. But then on the fireplace bricking itself, we put white marble. So that turned out lovely, and the homeowner loved it. In another space, we painted the entire fireplace all one color to just make it more modern and not see the brick. And that fireplace I love too. So we've done a few different versions of that. But they're
Oh,
fun to do,
wow.
especially with fall coming or fall here, I should say.
I love now, but as an interior designer, let me ask you, since you're always used to switching and changing, how does your house work? Because are you always changing things in your own home? Do you
Always,
get,
always, always, always. In fact, my husband says now, and I've been running this business 5 years. He now says, Laurie, do that next thing for your client. Our house is done. Do that next thing for your client.
do you have like a storage space? Because do you like to switch things in and out all the time? You must be get bored of like paintings and decorations. How does it work for the seasons?
I do. And yes, I do switch things out like that. But I'm fortunate. We have a home with a huge basement. I don't need a storage space for this stuff. I have a huge basement that I keep it in. And then, like you said, switch it out in order to decorate for the seasons, that kind of thing. And I love doing that. And I've helped a couple of my clients do that as well. For fall or for Christmas. One of the homes that I did, I think we put in I got 4 new trees last year,
Hmm.
and did each one in a different theme, and it was really enjoyable. So the really, really neat part about this job is it looks different every single day. Who knew
Yeah.
I'd be, getting a new Christmas tree and decorating however I wanted the next day.
Oh,
So that makes it really fun. And then I love to go to work.
I love it. Now, do people want to see this on paper? Do you use like a 3D programming app, or how does it work to show the customer what your ideas are?
I do. I have a couple favorite programs. One of them is electronic design boards, where you've seen design boards on HGTV where they have the carpeting and the lighting and all that. I do them electronically, and you can
Oh,
see every product on the page. And these electronic design boards I do, they have another side to them called sourcing, where you can click on and buy every product on that page. Um,
wow.
there's another software I use that I love is for space planning. So you don't, I had a client that has a basement that was just cement floors. And most basements around here have the pipes coming down in the middle, the pillars coming down in the middle of them to support them. And she didn't know how to decorate around them. And so I used my space planning tool, and I put in her sofa and her television. We did a wet bar down there, and I showed it to her on her exact measurements, her floor space with the the poles in there and so on. And once she could see it in a space planning program, she's like, "Of course, that's the way that furniture fits." And then she said, "That sounds great." And we did it. And I got all the furnishings for her. And now her basement, we actually got it done right in time for Derby this year, which is a huge part of Louisville tradition, first Saturday in May. And she had a Derby party there right after I finished.
I've never been. I've been dying to go to the Kentucky Derby. Tell
It
me,
is
tell me,
such
tell me I have to go. Tell me.
you have you have to go, and this is the reason you have to go. Folks in general don't get all that dressed up anymore, right? People are pretty casual all the time. At the Kentucky Derby and Oaks, which is the day before, people wear these beautiful hats, beautiful dresses. Men wear seersucker suits. It's like the only place that people still dress to the nines.
But
So the horse, the
where do we get our outfits from? Because they're probably sold out. I have to come to town, but everything will be sold out by then.
Oh, you can do that online. You can do that where you're at. You're in New York, right? There's plenty of places in New York where you
Okay.
can find a perfect derby outfit.
Oh my goodness, that's on my list of things to do, my bucket list for sure. And unfortunately,
It's a
Lori, we are
fun
actually
event.
just about out of time. We have 2 minutes left in the show. Hold on,
Okay.
but I want to hear more about the Derby too. But I want to hear more about you. What else did you want to get across to your listeners today about you and your services as an interior designer?
Um, like I said, I run construction projects if people want me to, but I also just do design, the design part, and people can do that on their own. So I'm pretty easy about the scope of projects, and I have small ones to big entire floors redone. So there haven't been projects too small or too big for me to tackle so far. Um, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much. So, Lori, tell us again how we can reach out to you. And do you offer an initial consultation to someone who's interested in your work?
I sure do. You can reach out to me at interiorsbylatitude@gmail.com. You can reach out to me by going to that Instagram account, Latitude Interiors, where you just went to, Jill, and you can DM me on there. And my phone number for you to reach me is 502-314-7923.
Beautiful. Thank you again. Pleasure getting to see you, getting to know you, and to talk more about this beautiful interior design. It's exciting. And
It
there's so
is,
much.
Jill. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Same here. I agree. I'm looking forward to the next time we talk. You are a doll. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.